From my sense, a rivalry is something that tests you to your limit and shows you your limits. It's something where there's a lot of emotion because of how hard it can be to overcome the rival. There's a beauty and poetry in it because the rival is holding up the mirror to your weaknesses and they're exposing them, and that's frustrating to deal with, but then you're forced to be honest with yourself and to try to work through it and to become better. And that is what both you and your rival want. And I think that's one of the most special things about competition. I think one of the things about the Fnatic Envy rivalry that was interesting is that French and Swedish Counter-Strike, I think, was really important to CS. With Envy, you had this kind of combination of like crazy firepower and personalities, of that French energy. And then you also have on the other end of it, the stoic, calm, also villains of the time in the Fnatic roster, where they didn't show us the super deep level of strategy and tactics, but they showed a mastery of how to mid-round. As well, the AWP was obviously got nerfed thanks to JW and Kenny S, and so you also had in that rivalry the best AWPers, and the two AWPers that understood how to play aggressively with the AWP like nobody else. But I'm thinking back to the early days of CSGO with that kind of French-Swedish rivalry. I'm thinking about that stylistic difference and how both of those teams were showing the best of CSGO in different ways. I think Liquid was very important to shaping narratives in North America because Liquid was really the first serious team in North America that showed a culture-defining change. Liquid had moments of much greater success than others. Later on, you got this addition of the Twist lineup, where eventually they did beat Astralis. This, I think, elevated all of North America along with it. It was necessary for them to do that because Astralis were showing mastery of the game in so many different levels that to compete against them was so infinitely difficult for basically anyone and everyone. And so everyone was studying Astralis, and Astralis were essentially making a student of the entire scene. And I think Liquid was one of the responses to the cultural impacts of Astralis.